Hello and welcome back to the Tease of Season of Life podcast with Tanya and Claire.
It always just ends into chaos. It's the weirdest gap.
It's not like, I'm over it, I'm not even talking about it. End of conversation.
Yeah, you don't have to talk about it because you can't see your face during the gap. It's fine.
It's trying to get, do you know what, I'm entering into the conversation. I'm not doing it.
Hi everyone.
Hello. Has anybody blown away? Are you all here? I hope that people had enough electricity for long enough on Friday that they could listen to the episode last week.
Yeah.
Because the storm started on Friday.
It did, actually.
And we recorded on the Thursday night very naively. Like, there was warnings of risk to human life. Like, I remember seeing that on telly thinking,
be fine.
I've never heard of that before. Never heard of, but Aidan's going to Bristol. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I'm going to London this weekend.
You had firm plans and were not deviating.
Absolutely.
But you had to deviate.
Oh, I did have to fucking deviate. I was so excited to go and stay in my little hostel on Friday night.
Oh, so you know you're just going to have to go and stay in a random hostel now, don't
totally.
you? Just for fun.
I know.
For my fun.
Well, it was advertised as like £11 for the night. It ended up being like £12.50 or whatever because of the taxes. But still, I mean, it's so fucking cheap. How cool is that?
I was very intrigued. So yeah, you have to still do it.
I will do it. Just for the sake of the podcast, I will do it.
Thank you.
I will.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let you live through me.
Through you, yeah. I don't want to do it at all.
Do you know what? The whole weekend that I was, or I say the whole weekend, because I went up on Saturday morning in the end.
Yeah.
And I met up with Bonnie just after lunchtime on Saturday. And just like hearing her plans and just what she's currently doing, like moving from Edinburgh down to London and what her plans are next, like the options as a single woman.
Yes.
With no ties, no baggage. Can you imagine what that's like? Oh God,
I do imagine it all the time.
It's like a fucking dream, honestly.
Yeah. It does feel very free, like you said. But would we not... I can't even say it. Would we not miss everyone?
No, you wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I'm not lying. Sorry, Trev, but I wouldn't.
So I could handle it for... I think I could... Like we always say, the rigs. I think that's what needs to happen.
Those bitches have got life sorted.
Because then you build up the missingness and then they go again. Yeah. That's perfect. But they'd also have to take the kids onto the rig.
Yeah, but you could send them off to grandparents.
Boarding school,
because you'd totally be able to afford that as well. Totally. Yeah. Absolutely.
They'd get a great education.
That'd be a great life.
Are good. And then they'd
God, that's so fucking wrong. Trev saying to me, I'm going to move you away from your family and get you to have children. And I'm like, yay! That sounds like a great idea.
Didn't think that one through,
did you?
No,
I didn't, because I was very fucking naive, it turns out. Very naive. But we went out walking around in Marylebone on Saturday evening, like in the dark. And it was just so lovely, like... Seeing all...
What's in Maryland? No, I can't even say it now.
Marylebone.
Yeah, what is there?
It's kind of... It's like...
Where is it
it's like the village within London. Like, it's very much got a feel of... I mean, it's not like a poor village. It's a very expensive village.
Can I say?
But it's got a real feel of London life without the hustle and the bustle of Regent Street, which is just kind of just over the fence type thing. Or over the hedge.
Okay, so
it's got... so you've got Baker Street.
Right, okay, so it's just by Regent's Park.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so near Mayfair. I'm just, do you know when I hear it, I'm seeing the Monopoly board. So
totally.
My brain just got fully thrown there. But, yeah, I don't think it's somewhere that I'd go. Necessarily like bars and clubs.
No. There's kind of, they've got locals, and that's what I really liked about it. I thought, as a place to live, I actually, if you know, comes at a very high price tag, but it would be a nice place to live because it's got green areas, it's got beautiful homes, it's got really nice little shops. Bonnie introduced me to Oliver Bonus. Fuck me, that store is amazing.
What does that sell?
clothing, homeware, the glassware. Jesus Christ, I was nearly having an orgasm in the fucking shop over the array of sparkly, semi-affordable stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's more expensive, like your Zara or your H&M. But yeah, really nice things. Really, really lovely. And I found an aromatherapy like perfume stick on sale for £3. So I made a purchase.
Nice.
Do you know what? I remember when I was young, like when I was a teenager, and Bonnie and I would plan our trips to Inverness. Like, we'd have a sleepover the night before and we'd get the bus the next day. Like, right, what shops are we going to go to? Like, what bags are really cool at the moment? Because it was all about sometimes the bag. It wasn't necessarily about what you bought. Or even if it was like an expensive
the
shop.
shopping bag.
Yeah. Because this was before, like taking your own bag shopping was like, no. We're not really poor. Like, we're not homeless people.
No, we can get a bag.
Whereas now it's like, oh my God, you take a bag from the shop. Do you care about the fucking planet? Like, do you have any remorse? What? What, you take a bag shopping with you, or you take a bag from the shop?
From the shop. Not like Spar or Sainsbury's, but like clothes shops.
Judgy.
I would never take a bag to a clothes shop. Like, if I was going to Primark's paper, anyway, which...
that's... To be fair, like, I wouldn't take my Sainsbury's, like...
No, imagine you go and buy something in Zara and stick it in your Sainsbury's bag.
But you buy the one bag, or you get the one bag at the first shop, and then you top it up though for the rest of the day. Okay,
yeah. Generally, I will do that. I won't get a bag in every single store. Like, just put it in the bag if I've got it.
Because it was all about the bag.
But it was as well about holding all of the bags, like Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Look at me! I've been to Primark and Pound Shop. Woohoo! Yeah, maybe not.
Oh dear. So last night, I went and picked up a Too Good To Go. Now, I don't know if I've talked about Too Good To Go on the podcast. So this is a really cool app that you can download. And it allows local retailers to sell off their surplus, going out of date stock at a really, really, really reduced price to save it going in the bin, basically.
Yeah.
So in Staplehurst alone, we have Greggs, Spar, the Morrison's Esso Garage down the bottom of the hill. Where else does it? Curd and Cure, which is out by Frankie's Farm Shop.
Curd is fucking Curd and fucking...
Curd and Cure. The Stamp Cafe, they have it, but I've not seen theirs come up very often. And there's another independent bakery in the village that makes cakes and they sell random things. So in Staplehurst alone, there's quite a lot of outlets that allows you to buy Too Good To Go. So we haven't done it in ages. I think the last time would have been before Christmas. Like, Curd and Cure is really good for cheeses and stuff like that, because it's like your... it's like a gourmet wholesaler, so they sell to like all the fancy little restaurants and farm shops and stuff. And so I pulled in at the garage, and it was just after 7 o'clock, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll get up Too Good To Go. It's because that's their pick-up window is between 7 in the evening and 10 at night. It's different for different shops. And so I went in. Normally they've got it in bags, like in the fridge, ready to collect. But he's like, oh, they're not ready yet. Have you got a bag? I was like, yeah, I've got one in the car. Let me go and get it. So I went and got like one of my regular shopping, like what are they?
Bag for Life.
Bag for Life, that's what they're called. And they're quite big. Fucking hell, he loaded it to the brim.
Oh, really?
I was like, is this just because my bag is this size? Like, because I have a bigger one.
We can do, I've got more bags. Wow. And
for £3.60, Trev and I worked it out. It was like 40 quid worth of stuff we came away with last night. I mean, he gave me 4 giant packs of roast beef ham, like sliced roast beef.
Roast beef or ham? Because you just said roast beef ham.
Yeah, but it's the sliced stuff. It's the roast beef. You don't get roast beef ham.
No, I know. You said roast beef ham.
Yeah, but it's sliced like ham with the ham in the ham part of the fridge.
Yeah, so roast beef.
Yeah, slices. So roast beef. Like 3 giant packs of that. Nice. Then there was sliced chicken with stuffing. There was yogurts. There was cheese and onion rolls. 2 great big packs of cheese and onion rolls. 2 punnets of plums. Those savoury eggs, you know, those little really dry.
I love them. Yeah, you just fill them with mayonnaise.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you take a bite, fill it with mayonnaise, and
Oh,
then eat the
okay.
rest.
Oh, well, I'll give you some then, because I've got fucking loads.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're not on Too Good To Go already, then
I never see anything on it. I every sporadically go on, and then there's nothing there, and I'm like, this is shit.
There's always stuff at the garage and at Spar. They've always normally got about 5 a day that they do, which goes to show that they are really not managing their fucking stock if they've got that much to sell off.
But when you see like the videos of how much food some of the shops throw away at the end of the night, I just think it's disgusting. Yeah. Really, when there's poverty in the world and shit like that, and we're literally throwing away food. Yeah.
Well, I was wetting my knickers over it in London at the weekend anyway. Yeah. It was stressing me out actually because I didn't know where anything was because none of the addresses made any sense to me. So I was looking at it for a little minute. It's like, oh boy, we could get a midnight feast from this Too Good To Go. And she's like, oh yeah. So I was looking at it and I was thinking, oh, I can't really figure out, oh, that one's just closed. Or there's one there. Oh, fuck it, it's just gone. Like, they go really, really quickly. It's a really well-used
And I suppose,
app.
like you said, if it's somewhere like London, the footfall of it would be higher anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
No, I'll start looking.
But no, I highly recommend it. It's really good. Nice. I mean, for £3.60, you could go in there and buy a load of... I was going in there to buy milk. That was why I was in there. And I thought, oh, well, I'll see what I can get on Too Good To Go. And now I want to go. I don't need anything else. I want to go. But now I want to go with my own bag and get them to fill it up again. Yeah, I want to go. I'm just going to walk in with a bag and take shit. That's how it works. That is shoplifting. Here we go. Thank you. Might not. Not the same thing. Oh, dear. No, but I'll have to play on that. Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good. I feel we should touch on the storm and the devastation that it caused. I don't think it caused you a great deal of devastation, did it? No. But no, like, damage wise. I was in a meeting and my Wi-Fi, my phone, and the power went. That was like, oh shit. But it felt really rude more than anything because I couldn't message to say shit. So I was just like, but then it came back on for about 10 minutes. So I managed to get on and say sorry, and then it went again. Yeah. So it was pretty obvious the second time. But no, we ended up, we had a lovely game of Monopoly because there was fuck all else to do. Mm-hmm. Sam watched a film in bed on his own because he doesn't like Monopoly. But yeah, we didn't have Charlie at the house, which was good because he would have been no. And he's not allowed to play Monopoly with us anymore. So that would have changed the day. But no, otherwise, absolutely nothing within the garden, within the front of the house. No, that wasn't. Yours was slightly... Well, 3 gardens along at our house, there was everything was going off down here. The kids were having the time of their lives. Connor was crying. He was crying his eyes out. Freya was like, why? She filmed this. She's like, why are you crying, Connor? I think I'm going to die. Oh, fucking hell. It was the funniest bless him. She went and accidentally deleted it, but oh no. Yeah, to be fair, like Trev had like really quickly told them to go upstairs because the neighbours. Yes. So the block of garages that are right behind our house, there's 5, and it was like piano keys, like they were just bouncing about as every gust was coming, and the one at the far end, like the roof kept blowing up and blowing over, and you could see the rafters underneath it, then it would blow back again, and the kids like, oh my god, it's like Wizard of Oz, is it going to go up in the air? And then it did. The roof of the garage closest to our garden got completely blown off because that was replaced about 4 or 5 years ago. And landed in our garden. Is it still in your garden? Yeah, it's lying in the garden, yeah. So it initially came into the garden and kind of got wedged on the fence, so Trev had to get it off the fence to lie in the garden. He's like, oh, just leave it, it's too dangerous to go outside. It's like, Trevor, it's too fucking dangerous to leave it where it is. It could get blown into the house. Yeah. So we got it lying flat in the garden, but it was all a wee bit of drama. It was quite It's mental that it was that blowy and that dramatic, and it's been. I know there's people who are still in the village, and you think it's Tuesday now that still haven't got power back. Just think, how the fuck is that a thing? I know. How is that possible? And what are you doing? Because I'd be losing my shit. I wouldn't be here. I'd be in someone else's house. I'm not sitting in my house for 4 days with no power. But yeah, it really did. I think I spoke to
someone at work today as well, because it's been pissing down in places. Also, loads of flooding, that bars and cars have been flooded and shit. And you just think, bloody weather. And it was so calm beforehand. Up until the last couple of weeks, the weather's been so chill, and then it suddenly went mental. The global warming.
Oh, absolutely. It's the earth just crying out to us, like, what the fuck are you doing to me? Sort it out.
Can you take your own plastic bags out with you?
I know. Stop using plastic straws, people.
I hate a paper straw. I will do it because it's the environment, but oh my God, a McDonald's milkshake with a paper straw. That
McDonald's
gets me very
milkshake's
angry.
full stop.
Oh no.
Dairy, meat. No. That is the problem. It's not the plastic consumption.
Well, I honestly, I'm really trying at the moment. I wanted to do 2 meatless days a week. And yesterday I got to the end of the day and I was really proud of myself because I was like, I've not eaten meat today, and I gave myself a little pat on the back, and then I realised I had a cheese and ham pickle sandwich for lunch. So hadn't gone meatless. But my dinner was, I had a not so chicken korma.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, I bought it from Sainsbury's, obviously. I didn't make it because that's just long. But it surprisingly, it wasn't as nice as a chicken korma, obviously. But it did the job.
Do you know what's really nice? Corn pieces in...
I'm not a fan of corn.
See if you cook them in korma sauce, or cook them in the sauce, right? Rather than, I don't know, some people heat them up in the microwave and then throw them in.
Oh, God, no.
If you let them, like, absorb the flavour, it's delicious.
Okay. I used to, when I've done them before, I had to put a shitload of seasoning on it.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't just eat them plain. Like, but they are like little sponges. They just absorb the flavour of what they're
I'm going to try for health and for the world. But it's hard because we are a family of meat eaters, and the rest, Bella will do it with me. There's no way the boys are ever taking part. Like, they are not. If I said, like, you're having a jacket potato and beans, they'd throw it at me.
Really?
Yes. No, they would. It would never. It's no chicken, beef, pork. No, we eat meat.
Yeah, but you can't unlearn that shit though.
They can, but they don't want to. And I have enough stress in my life without fucking about.
Make them watch Cowspiracy.
I don't want to watch that.
Why not?
Because I don't want to. Why am I going to fuck up my brain?
It's for education.
No.
For being aware.
I'm anti-racist. I don't need to be anything else.
You don't. You don't need to be vegetarian because you've watched Cowspiracy. You don't need to feel guilty about eating meat because you've watched Cowspiracy. But watch it to educate yourself on just what kind of an impact. I mean, I'm the daughter of a beef farmer. Yes. And, like, when I have the conversations with Dad, he kind of, you know, when you ask a politician questions and they kind of steer it away, or they kind of, they don't really answer the question. Yes. Like, Dad is aware, but in Britain it doesn't seem to have as high an impact as what it does in America. I think their farming practice over there is very, very... I mean, my experience of being a beef farming child is relatively organic. Like, the animals are out all the time. They're not, like, confined to sheds and farmed in that manner.
What's that called? Like what's it called when you farm them for, like, in just little places? Like the chickens. And you have
factory farming.
That's it.
Yeah. No. It's not like that. And do you know what? Like, when I buy eggs, I don't always buy organic eggs because I don't, unless I make a point of buying, like, locally grown eggs, because they are then grown from someone's garden, and they're so much more
grown. Laid.
Well, yeah, homegrown is what it's called. Home laid.
Home laid. So, how do you grow an egg? That's cool. That's a fun thing.
Oh dear.
No, it does. I do need to watch more shit like that. But,
another one is...
so this fucking fish one, aren't you?
The Seaspiracy. It's fucking brilliant. It's just such an eye-opener. And I think to deprive yourself of the knowledge that it gives you is almost criminal. And dare I say it, ignorant, to not watch it knowing what it could get. And again, it's not about... having to change your life. It's just being... having
the knowledge.
Yeah, just having the knowledge and just understanding what fucking darkness lies out there.
But I also think if you watch it, you've got to do something about it. Because what's the...
yes, you do.
You don't have to go the whole hog, because it's never going to happen. Like, everyone's going to go vegan. But how can you... For me, I couldn't watch something like that, be that aware of the big issue, and still live the way I do, which I think is what puts me off watching them.
Right. Well, we're not a fishy family at all, really. Aidan really likes prawns, but it's not something I buy a great deal of, but him and I will eat them from time to time. But since watching Seaspiracy, I can honestly say I've maybe gone to like crave for like tuna mayo on a baked potato or something like that. Less than 10 times. And each of those times I've gone to the supermarket to buy it, I thought, I just can't buy it. I can have something else. I love cheese and beans. And yes, beans is dairy, but fuck me, like, it's the lesser of the evil. Is it the lesser of the evil? I don't know. It makes me feel it sits better with me.
Yeah. So I will watch them and I will feedback my thoughts. And if you fuck up me eating pork, we won't be friends anymore.
Do you know what? It's been a really long time since I've watched Cowspiracy, and I
suppose it's cows.
Yeah, but it's more based on farming.
Right, okay.
And they do touch on pig farming, but again, it's an American documentary, so you have to view it through that lens.
Joe, I was thinking about this the other day, not in terms of like animals, but in America, and the fact that they make so many documentaries about stuff. Why don't we do that in Britain in the same way?
You know, I was just thinking that myself. Why don't we? I don't know, because Louis Theroux, like he does all his production over in America, and he's such a fantastic broadcaster.
It never goes as I was watching a Martin Luther King. It's called Am Mlk, and it's absolutely brilliant, and I've still got to finish it. But it was going into like everything that he's done, not just the I Have a Dream. It was looking at loads of stuff. Never realised how young he was either, which really did kind of throw my brain. That he was, I think, 32 when he did the I Have a Dream speech, which you just think, that's
fucking
just
hell,
mental.
that's iconic, isn't it?
And he'd been going for a while before then. You just think it's mental. But for one, why don't we have people like that in the UK? And if we do, why are we not like talking about them? Why don't we look at our ugly past and make this? You can find thousands of documentaries in about America's slavery past, civil rights, the Confederacy and all of that. Why is that not the same here?
Why don't you be the first person?
Well, good. I'm trying to get through Akala's book again, because that is about the Empire.
Ooh, so. I bought, sorry, totally interrupting you.
No, go
on. I bought June Sarpong's.
Diversify.
What's the other one?
Oh, it's on my Kindle. Oh, God.
Can't remember the name of it.
I looked at it the other day and I thought, no, I need to finish Diversify. I can't read another one.
I'll put it in the show notes. But I was in, I think it's called Dean Books on Baker Street, maybe? Oh, I can't remember. Whilst I was loitering, waiting to meet Bonnie on Saturday, and it was pissing rain, and I've got a puffer coat, and so they just act like sponges. And I was beelining for a bookshop anyway. I didn't want like Waterstones, I wanted an indie bookshop. It was fucking Ramo with all the Marylebone residents like in there with their little children and their little duffel coats and all like looking all fancy and that. I was like, this is really like I would love this on my doorstep. Like to take my kids to a bookshop. I know we've got the library, but it's not the same. It's not got the same edge and glamour to it.
Or diversity.
Or the diversity. And they had a really great range of books.
Okay.
And I bought June Sarpong's one of her books.
Okay.
In fact, I'm gonna Google it right now.
I'm reading Diversify, which is really good because it touches on all the different kind of protected characteristics. So it's not just race, it talks about gender, disability, sexuality, and how we can diversify our thinking to normalise things, and because it is normal. And it's she's very good. That you forget how long she's been around.
Yeah, because she used to present, was it T4 on a Sunday?
With Vernon, wasn't it?
Was it?
Vernon
yes, it was with Vernon, because she was tiny and he's like
and he was huge.
The giant,
Yeah, but she's brilliant, and she writes it in a way that actually makes sense, which I think is good, which they should do.
Well, the book that I bought is called The Power of Privilege, How White People Can Challenge Racism. And it's actually quite a little book, which is, I guess, quite appealing because it's easily consumed and you can action things quite quickly. Yeah. Which kind of segues us quite nicely into what our topic is today. Yes, it does. We have been yabbering for nearly half an hour on our, what Rosie would call it, breaking news. Wow. But we are covering... Tell us, what are we covering today?
How to be mindfully anti-racist.
Yeah, I love that.
No. And it is, there's a book that I started reading, but I was reading it on my Kindle and I need to actually get the book because there's things you have to do in the book.
Some things you do need a book for.
Well, this one it has challenges that you have to write stuff.
I fucking hate it when they make you do shit.
Yeah, but they actually they make sense if you're doing what it wants you to do kind of thing. But you need it in the book. The Kindle doesn't work. But it was, I can't remember what the book was called at all, but it was leaning towards that kind of mindfulness to help support being anti-racist. And I thought that's a really clever way of looking at things, because we do need to be mindful when we're being anti-racist, and there are things that we can take from that to help support that journey. So we are going to do our top three.
Do you know what I've just realised there as I was fucking slating books that make you do shit?
Yes. Is that your book? Yeah, well done. Well done. We'll ignore that bit.
But no, to be fair, right, so take a leaf out of this book. It's a kind of taking action book, so it's 99 different ways in which to bring balance into your life.
And if you know the book is going to make you do shit, that's why you're buying the book.
Yeah,
for
and
that.
it's not like it's going to... I've seen books where it's made you journal for like 28 days, and it's like, I love journaling. I totally advocate journaling, but I know the reality of doing it for 28 days straight is not going to happen.
No.
So I apologise to myself, to my author self, for slating my own book.
There you go.
I accept my apology.
Do you? That's good of you. That's good of you. Well done. I'm glad.
Right, so let's bring us into your first tip on how to be mindfully anti-racist.
I think the first thing we got on the list is resilience.
Yeah.
And I think it goes without saying, doesn't it, that you've got to be resilient if you're being...
So is that non-confrontational?
No.
Is that...
It's more...
being confrontational in a really friendly way?
No, I would say for me, it's more having that kind of strength to keep going at it.
Okay.
Because I think for me, that's where you need that resilience and that kind of strength to go, this is hard, this is shit, and then it might be okay. And then it's going to be shit again.
Okay.
And so you have to keep going, and you have to be mindful that actually there's a bigger picture.
Okay.
And that actually those little things that are going to happen, that are going to knock, but that doesn't stop you.
Okay. So what I often think about in terms of resilience is that it's not always I'll wake up one morning and be like, oh my God, fucking hell, what happened overnight? Like, everything's changed.
Yeah.
It's a slow progression, and then at some point you'll start to hear more and more about the good things, and someone will stop you in the street and say, I did that thing that you said to do, and it's completely changed everything for me. And those are the little moments that you're kind of looking for that kind of edge on that resilience.
Yeah, and it will. I think it's that I was reading something the other day, I've got a quote in my head, and it does when I think of resilience, and it said something like, we've got to stop teaching our children to be resilient and actually teach our children to be kind, or something like that, which I think is very true. But we also know we're not in that place yet.
We're not there yet,
So we have to have that resilience and that kind of, that power to keep going, and you have to take the little wins and celebrate those and let that build up in you. And also, I always say it, but let other people take over when you need to. Having that kind of, what's the word, awareness of when you are able to deal with a matter and when you're not, because you're not always going to be able to, and it's that simple. Yeah,
you've been very boundaried about yourself. I think you're learning to become more boundaried, but I remember not long after, at the very beginning of the pandemic, you felt very, very, very overwhelmed by a lot of what was happening. Not just George Floyd shit, but other fucking racial shit that was happening, like on our front doorstep. And I couldn't really appreciate what that felt for you until I started understanding a little bit more about the daily battle that you have to endure, like that resilience that you've had to build up.
It is, and I think it's... I was saying this to someone yesterday, that I have there's things that affect more. If you were to be racist to me, I can deal with that. I can have that argument. Yeah. I can have that conversation. When it gets to my kids, or when it's just the world, it gets to a point where it just goes whoosh, and it's too much. Yeah. And I have learnt now to just go, just stop. Yeah. Just stop it, because it is like someone literally pressing on your brain and going, everything's shit. You're never going to be accepted, and it makes you question everything.
Personal,
and it's not,
isn't it?
It becomes personal, and it is, because I cannot get away from the fact that I have brown skin. So it's not that's not going to change. I can't change that. I don't want to change that, but it means that the issues of racism are always going to be there, or they're going to affect me because I have brown skin. So if it's out in the world, that in some way will affect me. And that would be the same with any discrimination. It's kind of personal to you when it's happening, and when it's something that's so big. If I hadn't developed that resilience, I would have given up a long time ago, because it's hard. It's not easy to keep going and keep dealing with the shit, and the shit is still out there, which is a shame, as we all know. But I think that you need to have that resilience to kind of keep you going.
So for somebody who's looking to become more anti-racist and is starting to take more of this on board and starting to appreciate what that resilience in terms of being anti-racist means and the impact that could have on you, what are the little things that you can do in your day to kind of help you, or help the cause? Help you to deal with it and to build on that resilience.
Don't take on everything.
Okay.
I say this, I don't practice what I preach, but don't take on everything, because you can't. And it's not one person's job to fix everything, but you can, if you find the little ways of, whether that is educating yourself or speaking up when you see an injustice, or that we're not all going to be people that are going to go to protests and marches, and we're not all going to argue on Facebook or set up groups or, I don't know, write to politicians. But if you do a little bit, then you can build on that. And that can start so little. So it's even not, little in age, that just having those conversations, I think it just builds on it. And then if you do ever feel like it's too much, then you can step away. But don't step away permanently. Like, even when I step away, there's always shit that I'm doing. It's just publicly I tend to step away, as opposed to, because I can't stop doing it. Like I said, it's my life. But yeah, just don't let it overwhelm you, because it is massive.
Where is the biggest source of energy drain for you, or the main source of kind of racial attack?
I don't know. Social media is very prevalent, but it's not just that. I think it's a bit of everything. It's a bit of the little things. Now, probably before, a lot of it was thinking about the kids, and that has, I don't even want to say it, touch wood, settled slightly down. We haven't had an incident in a while, but I think now, as I grow, my awareness grows, and I now pick up on it in lots of different places that I maybe didn't so much, like TV programmes. So I might now watch a TV programme and go, that's a really undiverse cast. And how many people behind the scenes have you got? So my brain's now evolving, I think, into bigger causes. And so for me, it's constantly sitting on my brain. I think now everything comes down to race, which it's just there. And it's
not a bad thing though, is it?
It's not, but it's not for me, because I can deal with it and I can have the conversation. But you will hear a lot of people, I will have a conversation, lots of people, why are you always making this about race? Why is that always about race? Because it is. Because it is. Because we're not in a place yet where it's not. And we have to make it about race when it's not equal. So the conversation continues. And until one day we'll hopefully get to a point where I won't have to talk about it, and it will be so equal and equitable that I won't even I'll be invalid. I will lose my job. I won't be needed.
Why are we making this about white people?
Do you know, that is a conversation I want to have, and I really, like, we've talked about the straight white male anyway, but on a semi-side track, that I was having a conversation with someone about anti-racism, and they very much kept focusing on, and it wasn't an attack or going back, it was just the conversation on people would stop saying the N-word if black people stop saying the N-word. That black people say horrible things too. And it was said in it was in a conversation. It wasn't a dismissal of the issue, but it felt a lot more like you're focusing on that as opposed to focusing on the bigger problem. Like, you can focus on black people saying the N-word, but if I then said, okay, well, what about white supremacy? That would then be an issue. And I want that same energy felt on all matters. Everyone should stop saying the N-word. I say this all the time. But that's not the issue that we're dealing with. Black people saying the N-word is not what's keeping racism alive. Yeah. And if we focus on that, what is that saying? It's ridiculous. And the amount of honestly, the amount of times that comes up and you're like, you're missing the point.
Yeah, that doesn't define racism.
And I think it is that defensiveness it's something I want to explore. I won't get into it now, but of that.
Have you asked Aidan again? Or have you asked him at all? Like, we're just assuming...
Oh, no, because I'm waiting.
I know.
I'm waiting, because he obviously hasn't.
TikTok, Aidan.
It's fine. I think I'm due to go to the office soon, so I might slap him and say...
Well, actually, Claire C.
Yep.
When you hear this, give Aidan a little nudge to listen to this episode.
Just tell him. All the last 4 or 5 that we've talked about him.
To catch up on.
Useless man. See, straight white males. Letting us down. A straight white male, just the one.
He's feeding into a fucking stereotype. Jesus.
He doesn't care.
Jesus, oh dear.
Bless him.
Right, let's move on to top tip number 2.
Empathy. Empathy is... I don't get how people don't get empathy.
It's something that's devoid in our culture. It's not something that we grow up with, I think.
But why don't, I'm thinking...
I think we grow up with compassion. We grow up with love. But we don't grow up with the ability to feel...
And put ourselves in someone else's...
Yeah.
I suppose we are quite self-centered.
Or being given permission to... Some people might be able to do it, but not understand that that's what they're doing. But empathy is something... You can teach it. You can learn to be empathetic.
Definitely. And I think we all should. Because I think if we did put ourselves in someone else's shoes and think about how it might affect them, then once you know that... Like I'm saying with these programmes, if I watch that programme... I know what my brain's like. I'm going to have to change something because I'm trained now to be empathetic.
But is that a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing.
Just an inconvenience.
Yes, and I like meat.
Yeah, I totally get it. I really do.
I think it is, but that's empathy. That you should put yourself in someone, you should look at it in a different way and go, do you know what, actually that's causing an issue. But it is that inconvenience. And I think that probably is why a lot of people... that denial that there is an issue. So it's that empathy kind of stops. But if you're going to be anti-racist, because everyone should be anti-racist, not just those from a minority ethnic group, it's everyone should be anti-racist.
Yeah, they should. But I mean, I'll just devil's advocate here. I'm thinking you should only be anti-racist if you truly believe it. Like, don't fake it. There'll be people out there who will try and fake it because, well, I don't want to be a cunt amongst my friendship group.
I think it depends.
I'm not advocating for people being passively aggressive racist. Yeah. But if you neither sit on one side of the fence nor the other, like I don't want to be an ally, or I don't want to be anti-racist and fighting with people. I just want to be me.
I think, but then that's where you have to take the anti-racism, I suppose, down to that. It's not. It can be very small because, and when I say we all should, it's to me, it's the things like if you're in a room and someone says something racist, that if you just sit and listen to that, man. That's not cool. No, it's just and it's not. It doesn't have to be an argument. It can just be. Do you know what? Yeah. That was out of order. That it's.
I think that sentence, it doesn't have to be an argument.
Yeah.
I think is what a lot of people maybe are missing or are kind of not realising that, or feel that it has to be like that. It's confrontation.
Yeah.
Like not so many people, and I included, I don't like confrontation. I'll have it, but I don't enjoy it. Like I know some people who fuck me. I want an argument.
I don't like confrontation. Considering I genuinely don't. I'm not. I was having this conversation with Callum and Sam the other day because Callum was like, "You never back down from a fight." And I said, "I don't back down from a fight, but I also will pick my battles. Yeah. I know when to get into an argument and when not to.
Yeah.
And there are things that I will let go, not generally on anti-racism, but things I let go just because I'm like, it doesn't affect.
Yeah.
But when it comes to anti-racism, there was something on Facebook the other day, and it was an argument chain, and I just saw it and saw that someone that I knew was in the argument chain, and they were semi in the wrong. And so I felt that because I knew the person and I kind of knew what they were trying to say, but they were saying it wrong, and I could see the way that people were getting their backs up. So I kind of just stepped in and just tried to explain where it was going wrong. And I remember thinking afterwards, if I didn't know her, would I have handled that as calmly as I did? And it was kind of a lesson to me to go, do you know what? Sometimes we might have to go in a bit calmer on Facebook because it's written. You're not necessarily getting the tone with it right. You don't know. And I think that is a lesson there for me to go, we don't need to be having arguments on Facebook, that some people are still learning.
Yeah. And
so we need to just step back. And you can tell the out and out absolute racists, and I will have arguments with them because that's fun. But there's sometimes that you're like,
Do you know what? Even in some of the craft groups that I'm in, there's the one in particular one that I joined kind of around Christmas time for Freya's cricket that she got at Christmas.
Yeah.
And a big part of owning a cricket and being a cricket crafter is understanding SVGs, but it's a type of image file that allows you to separate layers and cut them or print them and design them in different ways.
Right.
So quite often you'll get an SVG share post that comes up on social media. And it's quite good to have a little scroll through. But then you get the odd one that's just fucking... I haven't seen anything out and out racist, but I fully believe that they're holding back because they're very, very pro-Trump, pro-gun, and I think they're just in being aware of their audience. I think in the right group or the wrong group, that they would be like, fuck it, wham, here we go. Yes. Here's the... Because it's just some real edgy... Not a lot of the time, but there's been a couple, and it's... So there's a couple, I don't remember their names, but there's a couple, like, you'll see, like, loads and loads and loads of images will pop up. And then you're like, oh, wow, they're all really, like, darkly themed, like, who... And it's all the same person, you're like... And then you click on their face... And you see all the things that they posted, and it's all the same sort of shit. And you're just like, wow, you're really fun at a fucking dinner party, aren't you? Really? You get fucking... I would take your gun off you and blast your fucking head off with it. Like,
nice.
You're that much of a fucking guy.
Nice. You deserve that, you bastard. See? But that's social media. Is that it gives people a voice. And some people are aware of their audience. And so but you can pick up on it. You can. I can. It's so easy. And in conversation, you can hear it in people when you talk to them. Of, like I said, even with that N-word argument, that it's you. I know you want to say something else. I know what you want. I know that you want to say something else. I know you want to talk about this more, and that you want to go, well, fucking, I don't know, they bring it on themselves or get over it or that kind of. I can hear it in the conversations, but. People are aware of their audience. With me, I know that Sam's been on building sites where they've out and out said racist jokes, and he's had to go, this is my wife and my kids, because then it's free to say stuff. And you're like, no one's going to do that in front of me.
Do you know what? It's really interesting you say that, because I've had a couple of conversations recently that I've wondered whether they would have gone the same way had I been non-white. Not necessarily black, but just not white.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting, and it's not until I've kind of removed myself from the situation that I've kind of looked back on it and thought, would they have said that if I wasn't either as close to them or the skin colour that I am, and not the minority that they're maybe kind of challenging me on something I've said in order to kind of cast awareness or cast a different light on what we're seeing. So it's a really fascinating topic to talk about, isn't it?
It is, and this is what I love it. Like, I can talk about this all day because I like the conversation. I think the more we have the conversations, the more we're going to be open to have the conversations and make a change. If we don't have any conversations about it, and all the little bits that make up what it is, because it's out there. We know it's fucking out there, and people are having conversations and maybe the wrong conversations. So someone needs to go in and go, should we have the right conversation, or do you want to say that to my face? No, because I fucking won't.
Right, talking about changing your mind on things, have you continued listening to the Sunny podcast? No. Oh, have you gone back and watched any of the episodes?
No, purely because I absolutely forgot that I had.
Oh, I thought you were going to say purely because I absolutely fucking hate Charlie Day. And I'm like, no!
No, I'd actually forgotten.
I'm not having that.
And I haven't been in my... I wouldn't listen to a podcast at home.
No, see, I don't either.
And I haven't been in... Or I have been in my car, but I've downloaded a playlist, or I've made a playlist that is just really fun. So it's like Tina Turner and Whitney Houston, and I just sit in the car and scream really loudly and sing, and that's kept me happy. So I actually haven't listened, but I will, because I actually did enjoy it. It surprised me that I think because they appreciated that they'd got it wrong.
Oh, totally fucked up. Yeah.
I think that.
And they keep talking about it as well.
Yes.
They don't let
and I think it is, and I think it is remembering that's what is it, 15 series? So what, 15?
It was 16 years ago they filmed the first
If
season.
you had spoken to me 16 years ago, I would not be able to talk in the way that I talk now. I was, like I said, I'm realising now as well, I had a lot of internalised racism towards my own colour and was myself. So my conversations might have been very different anyway, because I was kind of pushing against things. So we do have to grow.
I wonder, on the flip side of that, in another, say, 10, 15 years' time, will we look back on, like, the conversations we've had in the podcast, like, fucking find it, delete it, eradicate it from the internet? Remember that, the internet, like...
I do that now, and I'm like, make it go! Why did I say that? Fuck me! It's out there now. I do that all the time. But yeah, I'm sure we will. Do you know, I was watching... it was Leanne from Little Mix that she made a programme. Yeah, no, she's a nice one.
Oh,
Jesse's not the really bad to say Jesse's a bad one. She's not the bad one. Jessie was the one that I bitched about. Leanne is the mixed race one. But it was a really interesting programme in lots of different ways, in the fact that she would look at herself as black, and she had both of her parents were mixed race, which really kind of blew my mind in a way that they're both mixed race and she's still mixed race, and it was just because I was just confused. But she was saying that she would identify as black, but she was also talking to her partner, who I'm not actually sure if he's mixed race or light skinned, to be perfectly honest, because I don't know him, I don't know his heritage, but he's light brown. And he had found...
Why am I laughing? Last week we were talking about chocolate, now we're talking about light brown.
His honey caramel.
Caramac.
See? But food bad. But yeah, he had found, or some tweets had come out that he had sent when he was, and it must have been about 7-8 years before they talked about it, where he had been really, really, really disrespectful to dark-skinned black women, like just in tweets, like saying things about their lips or just how ugly they were. Shit. And it was like, and what I loved was that they'd obviously had the conversation before, because she said that not long after she'd met him, they came out and she was like, I really thought this was a really nice bloke, and now I'm seeing this, and this is so disrespectful. But he kind of was talking about it and just saying I was just ignorant and being stupid, and you don't think about it, the things that you're saying in the same way. It. And it was, and I was glad that she kind of pressed him, because she was like, you could see that she was still quite hurt by it, because especially where she's now trying to support more dark-skinned women. But it was just interesting to go, you put that on the internet, and as a black male, you didn't think about the impact that would have, and now you're looking back and going, actually, shit, yeah, this is awful. But do we do that a lot in putting, probably, if I went, I don't think I'd ever been offensive on my social media, but did I put things up that I wouldn't put now? I know that I'd maybe put a post up like after an argument with Sam and probably called him a dick or something on social media, which I wouldn't do now, because I'm like, I don't need everyone knowing that my husband's a dick. Everyone knows. No, I'm joking. I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. But I think it is as you grow, you become, and as social media becomes more of a thing as well, I'm more able to manoeuvre social media as well. So it's, I think we do use it differently now, I guess. But
okay.
Yeah.
Right, let's end the podcast on your final top 3 tip.
Last one, active listening.
Ooh. Is that when you go,
okay.
I do so what is it you do?
I do, okay. I do. I realise it now, I do it all the time, but it's active listening.
Yeah, it is active listening. And it's nice for the speaker, the conversationist to feel encouraged. The other way of doing it is like lifting your eyes, like nodding your head or smiling.
It is, and we get we do have kind of training in it, and we have to learn to listen. And listening is really, really difficult. I do not like empty silence. I don't like it. I want to fill it, but we know in our job that we can't fill it, because actually what might come out of that space is really, really important. And I think it's the same with anti-racism, that we can't always be talking. We have to sometimes just listen and learn and appreciate and empathise and build that relationship. And if we centre ourselves, or we centre our voices, or even in voices that aren't in the struggle, and I don't just mean white people, because I think it's bigger than that, but at different times, everyone has different struggles, and you've got to learn to not always want to be the centre. There's a difference with empathy and kind of, what's the word? Outdoing. What's the topping?
Oh, topping, yeah.
Topping. That sometimes it's just, you might have a story, and sometimes that's really good to share, that because it does show empathy. But sometimes you just need to listen and go, do you know what? Yeah, that's shit. And I heard you. Because sometimes that's all you need. I know I've had points where I don't need anything else, just someone to listen. And then I'm like, okay, it's out now, move on, job done, let's go. So,
I know, I'm trying to be totally silent. Like, I'm looking on here, like the sound waves, they're just non-existent. So, and then my odd pops in, I'm like, oh, we're still going. It's, I have this natural reaction when somebody's talking to me. My response is, or a nod, or just the odd sound. Just, I am listening to you. I'm not like phased away and thinking about something else. I'm looking at you. And when I'm speaking, I very often don't engage in eye contact. I look away when I'm talking. But when I'm listening, my eyes are on you. Yes,
I know. I think we both, I see when we do that, because I sometimes just start looking around and talking, and then you're the same, but then it is like, and then it's back, and it's like, okay.
We're just going to look into each other's eyes. Look into my eyes.
Gazing over the microphone. Very odd. Very odd. But no, it is. And I think that when you are, if you're doing that active listening as well, it's part of that is believing as well. And there is a quote. Oh, I've got to find it. Talk something. I've got to find it, because it's a really good quote about believing.
I love quotes. I was in one of the offices that I was working in today at the school that I'm in was, I've been in there for a few days, and I've noticed these things all over the wall, but I haven't really been, I've realised this about myself. I really kind of disassociate myself with my surroundings sometimes, but today I looked at it and each of these little posters was a really inspiring message, and it was just, I think back and I always compare it to how when I was younger, like was there quotes up in my school, like was there, if you can be anything, be kind, like was that on the wall as you walked into school? That was the first thing I seen when I walked into school today, was if you can be anything, be, it should have said fucking kind, because that's how
I'm not sure that but they could put that.
I find it really, I think quotes are really powerful, and I use them a lot in my books as well, because I feel that they, like, I'm not kind of established enough to have my own quotes, so I can use somebody else's quote to kind of back up my theory.
But sometimes it's why we're reinventing the wheel. If someone has said something so well, why am I going to try and outdo that? There we go. It's there. It makes...
I did indulge myself, actually, in one of the books. I quoted myself, But I did quote Claire McGilvray. I quoted the Mindset Mum.
Nice. So what was the quote?
Oh, it was something about moments in the silence and you hear the whispers of the universe.
Oh, sounds like very deep.
Yeah, it was very deep. But
nice. Well done. I'm going to have to quote it now in something.
I don't know if I'll be able to find it.
Yeah. We'll find it. We'll add it. I'll put it on social media so that we can all quote Claire. We can pass it round. We'll make a meme. Meme-ish. A nice meme. Memes can be nice, can't they?
Memes are good, yeah.
Yeah, but they can be... Listen, I always think of memes.
Do you know anyone that calls them memes?
No, because who would do that?
I think Hayley calls them memes.
Does she? Hayley! A meme?
Oh, Hayley, we're calling you out on this, meme.
Oh, no. Hayley.
Yeah.
Really? Meme. That is just weird. I'm so sorry. But it's mean.
Dear.
Right, I found the quote. So, in order to empathise with someone's experience, you must be willing to believe them as they see it and not how you imagine their experience to be. I think that is very, very powerful.
Yeah, that word believe is really powerful there. It's like, it doesn't need to be anything else besides the story that you're hearing right now.
Yep. How much do we want to go? I know what, when I think of it on an anti-racism point and go, that's racist. No, it's not. It's not racist. Mm-hmm. If I believe that someone said something to me that is racist, let's go with that. Mm-hmm. Let's not go with what you believe, because I'm telling you my experience and we're talking about my experience. And sometimes we have to just go, do you know what? It doesn't matter if I don't agree with that. That's her feelings or their feelings at that point.
It's okay to be wrong, isn't it? It's all right to not know the answer or to get something wrong, to say something wrong. Like, fuck me, just own your shit and apologise and like, how can I do better?
Yep. Yeah, I think I've spouted off about that for the last few weeks and just apologise. Fucking hell. Just hold your hands up sometimes and say, do you know what? I was wrong and the world will be better. But I think it's remembering, if we're being anti-racist, it is working. I don't know, I'm not good with nouns and verbs and shit like that, but it's the doing thing. The anti is the doing.
Verb.
Is it a verb? Is that a noun is a thing, isn't it?
Noun is a naming word and verb is a doing word.
Right, okay. So it's a verb. The anti is a verb. It's the doing of it. Mm-hmm. The doing of being anti-racist and making the changes and putting those tips in and putting the work in. And it doesn't have to feel like work. It's not. I know when I do a workshop with the kids, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like I'm saving the world. Yeah.
Do you know what? When it's your vacation, it really doesn't. What, do I need to cut that? Cut
it. No, I'm fine. It's fine. No, but it doesn't. I did a teacher's one yesterday, and actually, one of them messaged me this morning, and she was asking a question that I won't go into, but she just said it was really nice to have a conversation with someone that's just, you could see the passion in them, and that. For me,
that is amazing.
But that I can feel it. Beforehand, I'm so nervous before I go into any of them. Like, I'm literally on the toilet for about an hour beforehand. It's not pretty. But then, as soon as I start, I'm like, this is what I do. Yeah. This is the conversation I have. And I'm very open and I might not know everything. I'm not an expert in everything. And people's situations are different. But I can give you what I think is the best way to handle this situation through lived experience, through bits that I have read, through things I have watched, and let's build on that. And that's my job.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun, but not fun. I don't know, I need to find a word, because fun sounds wrong.
Fulfilling.
It's fulfilling.
Fulfilling.
It is fulfilling.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's been a really deep episode. Like, we haven't done a deep one, I think, since we spoke to Jessica. We did the girl in the pink shoes.
That feels like ages ago.
It was.
Has she brought out the second book yet?
No.
Oh, dear.
I'll send her a message, actually.
Yeah, I want to know.
Although there's nothing worse when people are like, where do you think I'm at?
Have you finished your books yet?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I just discovered the notebook that I'd actually sketched out the idea for book 3.
Oh.
Yeah, that just goes to show. It wasn't
just
a work.
discovered.
It wasn't a work in progress. It was. Oh yeah, that's right. I have said that it's in progress, but forgot where it was in progress. Was it a computer? Or was it another book? Was it where had I written it down?
Somewhere. At least you've discovered it now, so now you can do something. And that is, as a final point in my brain as well, is mindfulness and meditation. I think is really helpful with if you're doing anything that is going to take a toll. So if you are not on the Mindset Mums page, then obviously go and look on the Mindset Mums page, because Claire is brilliant at that and at guiding on that. And I think that genuinely does help me, because I think it just quiets my brain.
Yeah, when you ground yourself and balance your energy, you can attack anything.
Yeah.
With a better footing, but maybe not just all guns blazing, but you'll feel better.
Yeah.
Even if you've had an encounter with somebody that hasn't been pleasant, or you feel like you haven't got your message across, fuck it. Just take a few moments, relax yourself down.
Return to love. We haven't said that in
Return to
ages.
love, yes.
We've been over the love. We are returning to love. Not in our households, but otherwise we are returning to love. I'm joking. But yeah, it is. I think it is that take a deep breath.
Yeah. Definitely, just centre, balance, restore.
Yeah.
There you go. Centre, balance, restore. I'm going to write that down.
We're going to quote Claire again.
That's book 4.
Centre, balance, restore. I like that.
Restore.
I'd put that on a t-shirt.
Right, I'm fucking singing it. What is it?
Memeing it.
No.
Memeing it.
No, claiming it. What is it? What is it when you do something?
Fucking me.
P. The fucking word is like...
Oh, God.
Patented.
Yeah.
So I'm going to trademark it, patent balance, centre balance restore. It's mine. I said it here first. And I've written it down in the
you've written it down. That's it. This is very proper channels that we've done this through.
This is an insight to the creative process of my brain. Fucking verbal, mental diarrhea.
But it all comes good together.
It does.
Centre, balance, restore. I love that. That's a lovely note to leave it on.
That is brilliant. Right, we love you so much.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.